Welcome to the Confidently Balance Your Hormones podcast. My name is Dee Davidson, and I'm a hormone health expert, master mindset coach, and multiple wellness business entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you experience hormone balance, confidence, self-love, and live a life full of joy. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today. And now let's begin. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Confidently Balance Your Hormones, where we talk all things functional health, real life routines, simple strategies to help you feel amazing, and of course, hormones. Today I'm sharing a behind the scenes peek into my own daily routine. I had a client ask me this week to do this episode, and I switched things around. I said, yeah, that's a good idea. People wonder what it looks like to live and lead from a place of intention as a functional health coach. So here I am going to share a little sneak peek into my day-to-day practices. I want to be clear though, this isn't about perfection. I believe in consistency, not rigidity. These practices I always come back to again and again and have been able to sustain most of them for years now. They're not fad things that I jump in and out of. They're very simple. They're easy to follow. They help me feel grounded, energized, and it's an integrity with what I teach my clients every day. So get a pen and paper out and let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the start of my day. My start is always set with intention. When I wake up, which is usually around 5 a.m., and not that it matters. Some people like to sleep in a little later, but I typically wake up at 5 a.m. I don't get out of bed at 5, but my eyes open at 5. And I want to just note that in all my studies, the best sleep hygiene routine time, whatever you want to call it, for most humans is going to bed at 10 and waking up at 6. So if you get yourself on that sleep schedule, it seems to work best for our metabolic health. I typically am in bed earlier. I'm typically in bed at like 9:30, which explains why I'm up at 5. But when my eyes open in the morning, the first thing that I do is thank God for another day, right? I know that life can be hard and there's challenges and some days are better than others, but there are a lot of people that would like to have the privilege of opening their eyes in the morning that don't get it. So I'm always super grateful for that and, just sit in my own prayer with God in regard to what my day looks like ahead, setting intentions for how I want to feel, not necessarily my to-do list. When I talk to my clients about setting an intention at the beginning of the day, oftentimes they tell me all the things they want to accomplish. This is more about like, how do I want to feel? And as if I was watching a trailer of what's on my agenda or docket for the day. Yes, of course, we never know what's going to get thrown at us, but we have a general idea, for me, what clients I'll see, what do my kids have going on? Am I going to see my partner today? Do I need to think about what's for dinner? Things like that. But how do I want to feel doing those things, preparing my dinner, being with my kids, being with my partner, talking to my clients. How do I want to show up? What's the energy that I want to bring and share with the world today? How am I going to serve others today and really be the best version of me? What is that going to feel like? So I'm going to keep saying the word feel because it's not about what am I doing, right? And that's really key to beginning my day because we know life does throw us curveballs and one of my clients may have a really tough time and I can take on that energy as much as I protect myself from other people's emotions and energy and things like that. But it can certainly have an impact and we don't know where things are going throughout the day. But if we start with setting some intentions, that can be a huge difference in what happens the rest of the day. Sometimes I do a full meditation. People say to me all the time, like, how do you meditate? You can meditate anytime throughout the day. I've made it part of my lifestyle, just like brushing my teeth or drinking water. Once you understand that meditation isn't just sitting in silence or sitting in front of some like Buddha, it can just be meditating while you're washing the dishes and really focusing on the water and how the soap feels and things like that. It can be meditation while you're walking and you're connecting to the birds and the wind and things like that. Meditation doesn't have to be this practice of sitting in stillness and you're not going to think about anything. That's unrealistic. I really don't know anyone, even the best who meditate, that don't have their mind wander to their to-do list or a thought about what happened earlier in the day. That's why it's called a practice. It's reeling it back in. So sometimes I do a full meditation. My favorite thing to do is go on YouTube and search. I mean, it's free, right? It's a free app. Search in regard to what I need for the day. So is it a meditation about raising my vibe because I feel like my vibe is a little low this morning? Is it a meditation for difficult conversation I'm going to have? Is it a meditation just around gratitude or connecting with God? And depending on my time, sometimes I'll plug in 2 minute meditation, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. It depends on the day. We have to be flexible because if we say it's all or nothing or it has to be this, forget it. But most days, just setting the intention is enough. If I do feel like I'm in that state of doing some meditation, I will definitely go on YouTube. I also have something called Brain Tap. I'll put that in the show notes. Haven't used that in a while, but it's a great tool for anyone who wants to use light therapy, which goes right. You wear this headset, but there's light therapy through your ears. If you've ever seen like red light therapy, or when I go to my dentist, she has me hold a little red light thing up to my ear after a dental procedure and things like that. It's very healing for your cells. You get light therapy through your headset that you wear, these headphones, as well as you can download the app that goes with it with hundreds and hundreds of different meditations, but also they're catered to provide different sound healing and things like that. I was really in a phase with that. I haven't taken that out in a while, but that's another way that I provide myself some time of stillness and meditation. And sometimes it's just taking some deep breaths. You wake up and your cortisol is the highest when you wake up in the morning. Hopefully you don't have something crazy happen later that really spikes it. But for the average person, cortisol, your stress hormone, is highest when you wake because it is the hormone that makes your eyes open. Like literally, it shoots up and your eyes open. And that's why if you're waking up a lot during the night, you might have some cortisol spikes, and we need to figure out why you're spiking cortisol. But taking some deep breaths is the best way if you have high stress or high cortisol going on to lower it. Just breathing sends a signal to your nervous system and to your stress hormones that you're okay, you're safe, and you're aware that things might be escalated. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not saying that I breathe because life is escalated already. I breathe because I know how my body works. I'm in tune, and just taking even 5 deep breaths in through the nose and really holding it for a count of 4 and then releasing it slowly for a count of 6 or 8. That really helps. I know that I'm connecting with my body and saying, hey, we're going to take this day on together. I'm going to help lower my cortisol so that I can feel, again, in a good place for the rest of the day. So some days it's just deep breaths. And I do think that the deep breaths first thing in the morning are something that I absolutely do most days, so that it can be really, really easy and helpful for your overall hormones, especially your stress hormones. Sometimes I even set a word or a mantra for the day before my kids wake up and the to-do list kicks off. So, again, my mantra can be anything from something that is about self-love or confidence or taking on something hard. I love and accept myself the way that I am. It can be anything. It's not the same thing every day. I think there's a real issue with affirmations or reading something that you don't believe. I think it really has to connect to what you're feeling in the moment. So don't overthink it. Like, what do you need today? That can be your mantra, your words for the day. Right after I go downstairs, I have some room temperature water right away. I've explained this in the past, and if you're not following my YouTube channel, I'll also post that in the show notes. I have a video out there that talks about the importance of having a couple glasses of room temperature water right when you wake up before you have coffee and food and all of that. I won't get into this in that episode. You can go to the YouTube and look at that. It's free. You can just go out there and look for the benefits of water in the morning. and how your body works. But a couple glasses of water. I do add my B minerals. Again, I'll put that in the show notes because when you wake up in the morning, what do you usually do? You usually go to the bathroom, right? And we deplete ourselves, just like sweating, of a lot of minerals. So it's great to replenish minerals, and B minerals is my favorite. It's, not a supplement. It is actual minerals and they're pure, and your body absorbs them really well because it's not a capsule, it's a liquid. So it's bioavailable right to your cells. Great information on their website, Instagram, their YouTube as well. And I've been taking that for a while. So I put that right in my water. It doesn't taste like anything, it's tasteless, and it replenishes my body for the day to help me, replenish whatever my body used overnight. And if you've done an HTMA test with me, a hair tissue mineral analysis test, you'll know how important mineral balance is. And it's really important to know what your vital voids are because so many times your doctor tells you to take a multivitamin, which, by the way, most multivitamins are great marketing, waste of money, don't get absorbed by your body. They have a lot of fillers. And your body typically is more deficient in minerals than vitamins. So a hair mineral test is really inexpensive. You can reach out to me, Dee, at confidentlyloveyourself.com if you're interested in doing a little hair sample. It's non-invasive, gives you a lot of great information about your mineral levels. But it is a priority to get minerals in your body and not be guessing, like just popping calcium or magnesium or things like that. It's good to know what your body needs and make a calculated decision there. And from there, I typically in the first hour of my day get some sunlight. It's summer now, so it's so much more inviting and easy, if you will, to do that. Even in the winter, might just be going outside when I let my dogs outside, going outside, even if I'm in my robe, without sunglasses, looking at the sun. A lot of people take melatonin in supplement form. The free way to get melatonin is through your pineal gland, which is right between your eyebrows or right, in that center of your forehead. And you can do that just by going outside and looking at the sun without your sunglasses. Best to do that before 10 a.m., but it really helps your circadian rhythm, which is important for energy so that you don't get that afternoon crash. It really sets your clock, if you will, your internal clock for the day to tell it like it's morning. I need energy. I do believe the sun is a source of energy. Don't you just feel great when you're out there and the sun's beaming? You're like, oh, let me just take in all this energy. So I get out there most mornings, maybe just sit on my patio furniture and, kind of, again, in meditative state, listening to the birds and the wind blowing and my dogs running around. I do some earthing out there. Even in the winter when it's freezing, I'll take my shoes and socks off and walk around on the ground. The earth is really known to help us get grounded, which lowers inflammation, boosts our happy hormones and things like that, takes the negative charge out of our body. It's wonderful. So it's an easy thing. If you go outside, just take your shoes off and walk around on the grass without your shoes on. And even if it's cloudy, you're still getting sun rays, or else it would be pitch black out, right? So don't be afraid to get outside barefoot when possible and do a little earthing. There's just something calming and connecting when you step on the ground like that. It's really subtle, but very, very powerful for your nervous system, especially if you are trying to get your nervous system regulated or you're in that stuck fight or flight. Then it's time for breakfast, and everyone asks, what do you eat? Well, my answer to that is what I eat doesn't matter for you. I'm a big believer in finding out what your needs are through taking something called a metabolic typing test. I'll share that my metabolic typing is a slow oxidizer. So unlike many women in their 50s, I actually need more carbs, not bagels and muffins, but fruits and vegetables than protein. I don't need that 1 gram of protein per pound that I weigh. That's not how my body works. So what I eat really doesn't matter. If you're curious and you want to get a blueprint and take the guessing out of what to eat, it's totally based on your genetics, your metabolic type is what we call it. It's really inexpensive. It's a $139 test. And I'll tell you, it is like a game changer because you no longer have to guess, do I want to follow paleo or should I be on keto or what are my macros? It breaks everything out and tells you what the best proteins, fats, and carbs are for you, for your body. And, for your health goals, it will break out how your plate should be without counting calories and things, but visualizing 50% of my plate should be those carbs. And then, 30% is lean protein, and then the rest is healthy fat. But everybody's different, so it doesn't matter. But the key thing is breakfast is really important for your blood sugar for the rest of the day. And blood sugar is important because if your blood sugar is dysregulated, cortisol is going to spike. You're going to get that belly fat. It causes inflammation. It causes leaky gut. So breakfast really is the most important meal of the day. First of all, not to skip it. Ideal time for women is an hour to an hour and a half after you wake up, to keep your blood sugar balanced for the day, your hormones balanced, and eating high protein, that meal, high protein, very low carb. I know a lot of people juice, put fruit in their smoothies, things like that. It's not as impactful the rest of the day, but what happens is, remember, cortisol is highest when you first wake up in the morning. That also means that your blood sugar, that's why they have you do the fasting glucose as an idea, or if you're tracking your blood sugar, is typically higher in the morning when you wake up because of cortisol. Cortisol, if you have trouble with blood sugar regulation, remember that it's not just what you're eating and drinking. Stress also elevates, your blood sugar. And so you don't want to take that blood sugar reading in the morning and eat a bowl of, bananas and oranges and things, or, a bagel or whole grain toast, all of those things that might not be quote unquote unhealthy, but they spike your blood sugar because you're already at almost probably your highest point for the day. And then you're giving it another bump, and your body constantly all day long is fighting to bring you back to level, when that can be totally avoided by making sure that your first meal of the day is, high protein, 25 to 30 grams of protein, very little carb, like have some low glycemic vegetables, some greens, things like that to start the day. And then throughout the day, aim to eat every 3 or 4 hours, high protein, meaning 20 grams for my metabolic type. And for some metabolic types, they need 30 to 40 grams. So it is important to know what your metabolic type is. And then I eat mostly, I'm not perfect, as I said, I do go out to eat. I do sometimes eat healthier protein bars here and there. And I want to frame that, because sometimes people look at me and think like, I could never do that, but I am a normal person just like you, and I'm flexible. And matter of fact, I just went out to dinner last night, and I made some healthy choices while I was there, but you still get seed oils and things like that. You can't completely avoid it when you're out. It's okay to live. I'm giving you permission to live, but I focus mostly on whole foods, which means single ingredients, one ingredient with apple, orange, whatever the thing is. Unprocessed foods, try to cook at home, nothing fancy. I'm very simple. I don't have time to cook fancy meals, just real food that fuels me well every 3, 4 hours. From breakfast, I do try to give myself 30 minutes digestive rest, because you don't want to be eating and then working out or getting right into vigorous activity right away. You need to rest and digest so that you're not bloated, so that you do absorb the nutrition from your food, so that you feel well. Movement's a part of my day, but it's joyful. It's not forced. I just had coffee with a friend the other day, and we were talking about this, how they're in their 50s too, that before, it might be running, or I have to do my HIIT workout every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now it's not forced. It is joyful. How do I feel today? Just like setting the intention. Does my body really need to be doing that crazy sprinting? Or does my body say, let's just go for a walk today? And being okay with it, listening to your body, switching it up. Sometimes it's strength training, sometimes it's a walk, sometimes it's a short circuit, but whatever it is, it's okay to be okay with it. After my workouts, if I am at a workout at the gym, then I do head to the sauna there 3 to 5 times a week, about 20 minutes. We're just overloaded with toxins. Again, there's so much information on my website, confidentlyloveyourself.com, in regard to toxins in your products and things like that. If you go under my wellness toolkit, there's some free information on how to detox, how to avoid toxins. But we do need to help our body, because we're set up in an environment nowadays to fail. Our body can't keep up. It physically can't keep up with all of these toxins. So we have to take some responsibility for that. And saunas are just amazing. Just sweating really helps. I saw a statistic, don't quote me on it, but if you look it up, that the sauna 3 times a week for 20 minutes, you should really not be going in there more than 20 minutes. It becomes a stressor. It can elevate your cortisol and all of that. But 15 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week, reduces your chance of heart attack by like, I don't know, it's crazy, like 60 or 70%. Seriously. Obviously, can't be eating McDonald's and things, but I don't know all of the facts around that, but look it up. There's some great studies around sauna. And then, again, just thinking about not only detoxification, but it's a good stress relief for me. I feel so good in there. It's good recovery. Recovery is just as important as the workout, giving yourself rest days, making sure that um, really take care, stretch, and get a massage every month because it's not just about, oh, it's a pampering, but it's the recovery of our body. We beat our bodies, some of us, right, through these workouts and things. And if you haven't tried the sauna, it's total game changer. Also, after my workout, I take perfect aminos because perfect aminos are, I think, absorbed by your body. They're amino acids. They're absorbed by your body, I think like 97, 98%. When you eat an egg, I think you only absorb like 75% of the amino acids, which are important for rebuilding your muscles. So when you're working out, your body's looking for 2 things, minerals and amino acids. So I've got my minerals covered through the bean minerals. Sometimes I'll put some salt in my water and things like that. And not table salt, by the way. I use the Baja salt. But amino acids, your muscles need that after your workout. So I take those because I don't have to go eat like 6 eggs or anything like that. It's really, really great product. So if you're interested in that, again, I'll put that in the show notes. So I typically take my aminos after my workout for recovery or even during my workout. If, again, flexibility, there's no like every time I take it right at the end. Sometimes I take it during my workout. Your body is looking for those amino acids when you're doing a workout. One shift that's really changed how I move through my day is I focus on priority management, not time management. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but I've learned that you'll never find time for what matters. So you have to make the time. So I asked myself what I wanted to top priorities for the day. And I breathe into them literally like, okay, this has to happen today. All of these other things, like putting my laundry away, folding the laundry, it might sit there literally for a week and a half. And my kids have to go look in the baskets in the basement. And that's okay, because that wasn't a priority. It's okay to leave things to the next day sometimes, like laundry. But what are the things that have to happen? I got to get my kids to school. I got to feed them, right? Like, what are the priorities? And then everything else is kind of like, if it happens, that's great. Intentional breathing is a staple in my routine. When I'm on a walk, I make sure that I'm breathing, not just walking and listening to music or, the meditation or whatever. When I'm walking, I'm intentionally breathing to help reset my nervous system, my hormones. I pause before my meals and take just 2 or 3 deep breaths to get out of fight or flight and go and do mode to tell my body, hey, it's time to rest and digest. Because by the way, digestion starts in your brain. It doesn't start in your mouth. A lot of people think it starts when you put something in your mouth. That's incorrect. It starts the minute you start to think about what you're eating, your brain sending signals to your digestive system as to what kind of enzymes and how much and all of that. I use the example of a drink. I drink seltzer water sometimes and then still water. Have you ever like taken a sip of something and you're like, whoa, like it wasn't what you expected? That's because your brain, digestion starts in your brain and it's expecting something when you're thinking about it. So pause, infuse some gratitude in that food. What's the energy you're bringing to that plate? Because if you're in a negative state, you're infusing, energy is a real thing. You're infusing negative energy into the food that you're about to consume that's supposed to be so healing and nourishing for your body. And that doesn't sound like much, but it does a lot. It does a lot for your digestion, for your nervous system, for your hormones. I get asked about supplements. Supplements have changed over the years for me based on my testing. I'm a big believer when it comes to supplements to test, not guess. We don't just take things because we saw an influencer talk about it or because we're postmenopause, we must need this. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. But some of the few essentials that I personally believe in are my omegas for inflammation, brain health, all of that. Vitamin C, again, inflammation, our immune system. And I use a liposomal vitamin C most of the time. It's absorbed better. Liposomal vitamins in general are liquid vitamins and they absorb at a cellular level better. Magnesium, we are so deficient in magnesium because stress goes after magnesium. And we all have stress, whether you want to admit it or not. It aids in sleep, it aids in better bowel movements, it aids in helping your nervous system, cellular health, so many things. So I do use liquid magnesium. I'll put all of my favorites for these things too, by the way, in the show notes. And minerals that are tailored to my HTMA. I never took minerals and I don't plan on taking them forever. I'm going to retest my HTMA every few months. And then once they're good, I'm just gonna, work on maintaining them through using food and stress management techniques and all the things I'm talking about. But right now I do take some minerals that are tailored to what came back on my hair mineral test saying that I was depleted in. And you just heard also about the perfect aminos that I take during or after my workout. But that's it. I've cut back a lot on supplements. I don't take a probiotic anymore. I don't believe in probiotics unless your GI stool test shows that you don't have the right good bacteria. A lot of people ask me about probiotics and they end up causing more issues or they're wasting their money because their environment and their gut isn't even conducive and they're just pooping those out. Other things I'm asked about multivitamin. Again, not really a believer in a multivitamin like adaptogens and things like that. Again, you really need to know that you need these things. You could be spending a lot of money adding another thing to your routine, and you can be doing harm too. Just because it's a natural supplement doesn't mean that you can't not causing your body imbalances. Your body, remember, is always seeking ease and balance. And if it already has enough of something and you're putting more into it or disrupting the flow of what your body's trying to do for you, that's an issue. All right, let's get to the evening. We're getting to the end here. I start to dim the lights. I don't have like bright fluorescent lights on. I wind down. I don't really watch TV, nothing against TV, but very rarely maybe we will watch a movie or something like that on the weekend. Now that it's summer, I love spending times outdoor, just sitting on my patio, maybe listening to some tunes, reading a book, maybe even a short walk around my neighborhood after dinner to bring my blood sugar down, support digestion, and just unwind from the day. Nothing really exciting going on there. Remember that the way God created us, we really should mimic sunrise to sunset with our activities. I used to go for runs, later at night and do exercise later at night or a lot of chores and things. That's not really benefiting you, just to be clear. It's best to do most of the activities early in the day. And then finally, I close the day with a quick gratitude practice, nothing big. When my son, who I share time with his dad, when he's home, he's 13, we've done this for a long time. I've taught my kids to do a gratitude practice at night. We talk about we say thank you, God, for blah, blah, blah. And then we do 3 wins from today and 3 wins we want to get for tomorrow. Every single night, I am faithful to that because we get hit with a lot of negativity and a lot of bad things. And it really does help you put things in perspective when you focus on the good. And you also have something to look forward to. And that also helps you sleep because if you go to sleep on a negative mode or with all this stuff in your head, you think you're going to get good sleep? No, your subconscious mind is running the show. But when you just told your brain, the last thing you told your brain before bed was all these good things are happening to me. Everything's always happening to me for my greater and highest good. Then your happy hormones are going to be elevated, which provide much better sleep. It's so powerful. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me hopeful and aligned with what really matters in life because we stress over things that, not even matter in 5 years or 5 days, but 5 minutes sometimes. So we have to focus on the good things. So that's a peek into my daily routine. You can see it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing some basic things that make you feel supported, one small habit at a time. And if you're curious about how to create your own rhythm and you want me to help you tailor a routine that works with your unique body, we can go over your metabolic type, your stressors, your diet, your exercise. I'd really love to support you. So reach out either on Instagram, confidently _love _yourself, or you'll see my links below. I hope you have a fabulous day. Don't overcomplicate it. Remember habit stacking, or maybe start at the end of the day with one small shift at a time. Go from there. And I'd love to hear from you. So as always, my inbox is open. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Confidently Balancing Your Hormones. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to share it with a friend and also hit follow at the top of this podcast. If you have a couple of minutes and you can leave a quick review, it will help other women in need find this podcast. You can find me on Instagram at confidently_love_yourself. I would love to stay connected and hear from you.